Welcome to Sormag's Writers Cafe, where we share the real writer's life over a cup of friendship, sprinkled with a laughter and wisdom. My name is LaShonda Hoffman, and I'm your host. Our topic today is how to promote yourself in real life. Our guests are Tracee Garner, Jeanette Hill, and Ashley Sauls. Tracee, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your book?
Sure. Thanks for having me. Hey, everybody. My name's Tracee Lydia Garner, and I write romantic suspense. I also write inspirational contemporary romance, and I've written 5 books. My most recent, Anchored Hearts, came out last spring, and I'm finishing the sequel that I hope to release in the fall. I also just finished, I'm editing right now, just finished my first nonfiction book called Pack Light. Pack Light is Light. It's about uncovering some of your experiences by journaling and answering some pivotal questions on some of the issues that you've had in your life. And hopefully it will be a reflective journal and also kind of a look back and see what you did and where you've been kind of book. And it's going to be really short, and I hope that'll be out in just another month or so. But I love writing, and most people know that I won the BET Writers First Time Writers Contest years ago, almost 15 years ago now. I'm still talking about it because it was just a wonderful thing, but that was kind of my foray into writing and kind of helped me cope with my disability. I have muscular dystrophy, and I use a wheelchair in life and ups and downs, and so I continue to just honor the gift that God blessed me with.
I'm glad you won that award because that's how we met.
I know, absolutely.
They did the promotions, and I got to promote and interview you. So, yay.
Mm-hmm. It was fun.
Jeanette, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, my name is Jeanette Hill, and I'm a playwright, writer, producer. I'm sorry, I get the signals. I'm supposed to say I'm a multiple award-winning playwright, writer, producer, director, and I write about real life. Our tagline is we tell our stories with our voice. And right now my newest project is I'm working on 2 series that will be, shameless plug, will also be podcast. One is The Front Porch Divas, Over 40 and Fabulous, stories about women living their best life in the second half of their lives. And the other one is The Men from Marsden's Place. And it's about men who are over 40 who are dealing with life on their own terms. So those are the 2 things that we have coming up. I've been blessed and fortunate. We've won acknowledgement at D.C., Atlanta, Seattle, South Carolina. So we and here in Texas. So we've done. God is smiling on me. I certainly have to put that out there because this was not part of my plan, but it worked out the way that He wanted it to work out. But, yeah, so that's what we write about. That's what we do. I don't know what else to say. So I think that's it.
Thank you. Miss Ashley?
Hey, everyone. My name is Ashley Sauls, and I am an inspirational writer and speaker. And I am the writer of a series called Morning Motivation, which is 31 days of inspiration to help people to have a positive outlook on everyday life. And I'm also working on a new series of books, which will be an instructional guide to ministries on working within their communities and helping and serving. So I am grateful for being on the panel with some amazing ladies and for LaShonda for you having us tonight.
All right, I was having a rough time on trying to figure out some questions about this. Then I realized that real life is working, family emergencies, sickness. Sometimes sickness will take you down and you don't even realize it. Deaths in the family will take you away from your promotion. Happy events. Maybe somebody was telling me they were doing a wedding for their daughter. You know, that takes them off the thing. We have one of my I call her social butterfly, is having back surgery. So real life can sometimes jump in and take over and stop you from writing and definitely stop you from promoting. So we're going to discuss how you ladies handle real life and your promotion? Let's start with Tracee.
So real life and promotion, I think for me, just, being organized is really important. Sometimes I feel like I'm managing the life of like 3 to 4 different people. One reason just about that is because I have 2 aides. I have 2 caregivers. I have a Monday through Friday person, and I have a Saturday through Sunday person. And I also have a family member, my mom that lives, with me and handling her schedule and doing some things like that. So I think just being organized and sometimes delegating. I have a full-time job. I work in social work, health and human service. So really writing is kind of more like my side hustle right now. So I release books when I'm able to. But organization is really important. And then I think also delegating. And, when people come in, when my aides come in, they know exactly what to do. Like, I don't have to talk to them. I don't have to tell them everything. Everybody has a list of what they do. I have my own list. And so even though I'm promoting and I have, like, my book signing bags, and they all know there's a list for that, like, you need to check after every single book signing, count my books. How many do I have? Do I need to order more? Like, everybody has their set thing. So organization for me has been, like, the major, most important thing. I mean, I want to release my books, and I want to do all my speaking engagements on Saturday and Sunday and speak at churches and do different things like that. But then I have to coordinate everybody's timesheets, make sure everybody gets paid, make sure my mom's bills get paid, and she wants me to hold everything for her, and I'm just like, okay, like, so just juggling all those different things, I think, and relying on others has been 2 major important things. Relying on others, proper delegation, lists, and being really organized are how I handle all of that.
I'm tired for you. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Wait,
I was going to say, let me hang up now.
No. Everybody has their thing. Just think, you can do all this because you guys are physically able, but when you're relying on people, it's harder, but you just have to get over it. Like, I've had my disability since I was 2 years old, so it's like, look, I need some help. Y'all gotta help me over here at SOS. So, I think it's hard accepting help and needing help, but you guys, if you think about it, you're doing everything that I'm doing. I'm just not physically, able to do it. But that's another added thing that I have to think about, as far as doing different things.
We were talking, me and Ashley were talking about that offline, about asking for help, how she was saying she was getting an intern. And I was like, wow. I remember somebody told me to get an intern years ago, and I was like, I can't let them do my stuff. And I'm listening to you and going, how selfish. I should. For me, I got to do everything.
It's not a big issue when you have to anymore. It's not a huge issue. But I understand. There's some things I will struggle through, and I don't want to ask for help. But it's like, look, you're about to exhaust yourself, so you might as well go on and ask for help.
We definitely, I have learned a lot from you, Tracee.
Well, thank you.
Ask
too.
for help,
Yeah.
Too. Jeanette, how do you handle real life?
Well, going through almost what Tracee says, because unfortunately for us, or fortunately, it's just real life is truly happening with us this year. We've been diagnosed with several diseases, and so have my husband. So we're making it work the best that we can. One of the things that I'm really, really, really struggling with is rest. And that's something that I think a lot of us leave out of the equation when we're making lists and we're being organized. We forget to factor in that we need to rest.
Yes, we talked about that offline, too. I was telling them that Monday has always been my rest day. I do nothing. I come home, I cook dinner, and then I'm on the couch. I'm either watching TV or I'm reading a book. And I schedule my podcast for Mondays and Tuesdays, and I've been exhausted. And I said, I'm going to have to just do on Tuesdays because I need my rest day, and when you take it away, your body falls apart. And I'm like, I got lots of stuff to do this year, so I'm going to have to go back, juggle my time so I know when I can when I can rest and when I can't rest, but you definitely need to rest.
So I have to factor that in because I have a novella that I'm depending on you and Linda and some other people to make sure I finish this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can get that. In fact, it's a series of them, but it's okay. We're going to get that done this year. One of the other things you did, and I think Tracee hit on it, is, and the way that I like to put it is that we need to double down on our strengths and outsource our weaknesses. So those things that maybe we're not the best at, even though they're going to be things that we need to do. Some things have to be done. But that doesn't mean that you have to be the best at doing it. So for those things, if you don't have the funds to resource it out, in the theater, there is absolutely nothing wrong with bartering. If someone can do something for you, you can in turn do something for them. So that it's not necessarily a monetary exchange, but at least it gets done. They have that skill or that skill set or that gift or that knack that you don't possess, and we all have different gifts, so that's okay. So for the things that you do well, that's what that's where you put your efforts. Concentrate on the things that you do well, and those other things, you see if you can put them trade them off to somebody else, and if not, it sounds crazy, but put the burden on the front end. I learned this in school. I don't always do it. Do the things that are the hardest for you to do. Do those things first, and get those out of the way. So if you're not good, if you hate the bookkeeping and the accounting, make that your Monday 8 to 12 or whatever your time period is. Make that how you start your week. You make sure the invoices are out. You make sure that you've balanced your accounts. You make sure that you sent out all your payments. Make that your Monday deal. So that way it frees you don't work with dread, because I find what happens is if I don't do those things that I'm supposed to do, even though I'm doing things I enjoy, in the back of my mind, I'm dreading because I know, okay, but you have to get this out. Okay, you have to mail that payment. Okay, you have to log in these expenses. Okay, don't forget you have to do this. So if you move that to the front end where you do it, it's out of the way, and then you can do the other work that you enjoy doing with it flows better. That's just the best way to put it. It flows better when you don't have all those things dragging on you. The other thing I think Tracee also hit on is make notes and lists. And sometimes, one of my biggest challenges, and I'm learning from my husband to break it up, I always thought I had to do everything in huge chunks. If I needed to write 30 pages, I needed to sit down and write 30 pages right now. But if I sit down and I write 5 pages 6 times on different days and different times, I still end up with 30 pages.
Exactly.
So I need to learn how to parse that out. Again, that really plays back into the resting part, and to not just waiting until your body just dragged you all the way down where you may have needed an afternoon nap and now you're sick for 4 days. So, to break things out. You have to break things out. I'm learning this macro minute thing that I heard a writer talk about last week or the week before. Said sometimes if you can only write 20 words, take those 2 minutes, sit down, write the 20 words, get up and go finish the laundry, or get up and go to your next appointment. If you keep writing 20 words, eventually you're going to make it.
Another thing, too, to add to what Jeanette's saying, I'm sorry, Jeanette, were you done?
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay, is that, only in the last 2 years have I been employing technology. So, in the middle of the night, I can't really get up because I need help, obviously, to move around. But I finally used talk to text one night, and I was really surprised by 300 words, just kind of being having an insomnia attack, not being able to sleep, rather than turn on the TV or the radio, which I do listen to music every night, and it goes off automatically, which I love. But and Pandora, you can put a timer on that too, on your phone. But I just hit the microphone button and can talk, in an email, and then when you get up, you cut and paste it. So it's nothing but dragging. It's not. I don't have dragging.
I love dragging.
Kind of like
I love dragging.
I don't like dragging only because of the learning, the time it takes to recognize your voice. But if you have a pretty good speaking voice and you're able to talk on your talk to text, I call it talk to text, but it's not. It's just speech to text, and I just paste it into an email like I'm emailing myself, and then when I get up, I'll just cut and paste it into a Word document. Now, some of it comes out like, what the heck did I say? I don't know what I said. It's some gibberish. But for the most part, it comes out pretty clear, and you're able to. And that has really helped me increase my writing sometimes, too. So I think, some people need to get more familiar with technology and realize that can really help them, too. And timers and reminders. I had my reminder on tonight to remember to call in because I get busy doing something else and completely forget about it. So little things like that.
Because I had it on my calendar for tomorrow night. So I was glad when LaShonda sent me the email because it popped up. Okay, tomorrow. Don't forget LaShonda.
Yeah.
Tracee, the dragon has gotten a lot better. And the more you
I think I'm just
too
cheap, too. I just don't want to buy it.
There's a free one.
I have the iPhone, and it was free on my phone.
Yeah, there's a free one.
Okay, I'll look at it.
Yeah, and that's what I have, and it has changed my life this past 2 years. I put it on there, and I started using it to do my blog because I wanted to write blogs. And sometimes when I'm sitting waiting on the bus with the kids, I was talking to it, and I would get my blog done for the day. And I was like, oh, I like this. Like you said, you cut and paste it. And I noticed that it got better as I talked more into the dragon. It recognized my voice.
It does. Right. It recognizes your voice pattern after what. Once you make a certain number of corrections, it recognizes your voice pattern.
And so I definitely recommend that too. Like I use the reminder things too. And like you said, break up things at 15. I teach the 15-minute thing. But that helps me a lot because sometimes that's all you have is 15 minutes. I'm waiting on the bus for 15 minutes. I got to see what I can squeeze in 15 minutes time frame, and then I go to work. I get 15-minute breaks. I squeeze in my writing that way. Same way with promotion. I've been doing Instagram before I go to bed. I do Instagram for 15 minutes, and I go on there and I meet different people and read their posts. I post on the posts. I like different posts. I'm engaging with different people, and you'd be surprised how many are people up or at midnight doing the same thing. So you're talking to people, But, I think that we get overwhelmed because we think we got to do so much when it comes to promoting our writing. And we're, like you said, trying to do 30 pages instead of just breaking it down to 5 pages a day. I learned that the hard way. I felt bad. I didn't get my 2,000 in. And you can't beat yourself up over stuff because life happens. Life happens. You can't,
Yes, it does.
I was doing what was that? The book in a month, and I had my grandmother died. It was during the book of the month, and my best friend's son was shot. My grandmother died the second week into it, and then my best friend's son was shot the last week of it. And I'm like, oh my, this is real life. And I'm like, I want to meet my goals. I want to meet my goals. And I realized that, you had to write when you could write. I'm at the hospital. I'm going to a funeral. And so I took those little times that I had and I wrote, but it was hard. But it made me realize that life still happens while you're still trying to do this job.
Exactly. And that's what you have to accept. Life happens. And sometimes it just brushes past you, and sometimes it will knock you to your knees.
Yes. A death would do that completely, just knock you off. And I told people I was a zombie for 2 years after my mom died. I didn't do any writing, and that's when life completely knocked me off my feet. But I had to find my way back. I could have stayed that way and not ever write ever again. But I realized, what was important to me, and that I wanted to continue writing, and I had to find the muse again and have her open the door back up and say, "Come on out, I'm okay." And not let real life take over you. And that's each person is different because some people, I've talked to people and they're like, I'm done with writing. I'm not writing anymore. They just, they've gotten to that point. But I really believe that as a true writer, that it never leaves you until you die. I think that even if you're not writing, those words are in your head. Even though I didn't write for 2 years, the dragon story was up in there. He was like, look, I need to come out. My kid's story was here. Look, you still need to talk about it. You haven't wrote us. They was like, just because you're on a break don't mean we're on a break, So the mind is still, the muse is still there, and you just not listening to it, So as a true writer, I think some people give it up and they never write ever again. And I'm going, they have to be having some hard times at home by themselves. I know what it does to my mind. So.
Yeah, because I think those characters in your head eventually start talking to you if you don't let them out.
No, mine. That's what I'm saying. Mine always be talking. They wake me up. You're not just because you're not writing don't mean we're not talking to you.
Yeah.
So.
You may not be talking, but you're going to have to listen. So.
Yes. Ashley, how you do? How you handle life, real life?
So for me, what you guys were talking about, I was just taking notes, and productivity is one of those things that I have learned from experience. And one of those things this year that I focused on was, what do I value? And I had to come up with my value statement. So I have basically 3 words that I use, which are faith, family, and fitness. And I have to establish my boundary around those things because, like you ladies were mentioning, there's so many things that we're involved in. We're working in our community, we're serving our families, we're meeting different types of people. But if we don't know what we value, then we can tend to find ourselves into multiple things, and that at the end of it, we're like, wow, I feel spent because I gave my time to everyone else, and then I looked at myself last. And I'm tired, I'm sick, and I don't know what to do. So that's one way that I look at my balance, is to have some things that I value and really focusing on that. And then I believe it was Jeanette that was talking about rest. And rest is so key, and I think that for us as ladies, that's something that is really a big challenge because we're used to being the nurturers. We're used to being the ones on the go. We're used to being the servants. And it's really hard for us to pull back and say, hey, it's okay for me to take a nap for 10, 15 minutes. The world will not stop. It's okay for me to shut off my phone if I need to go to bed. It's okay. And so I know that Tracee was mentioning some apps. So for me, one that I've been using a lot is called Flipped. And what it helps me to do is to shut the phone down because I need to get some sleep, and I do tend to write at night. Sometimes I'll wake up in the morning. So when I am getting sleep, I need to be able to get sleep. But then if I need to get up, I also don't want to be groggy or tired and not willing to write, because I know you guys know as writers that if we don't write things down, sometimes we don't remember what it is. And it's hard to come back to later. So I have to put those boundaries into my rest so that I can make the most of my time.
I think another app that helps you, concentrate is also Focus. And there's actually Focus Music. It's online somewhere. I forget the name, but I can look it up. But it plays music that supposedly enhances your ability to focus on what you're doing. And I guess the app that Ashley is talking about kind of shuts down all of your just temporarily all of your things, so there's no dinging and there's no buzzing and there's no, let me go see this, let me go see this when it pops up to let you know, I'm sorry, it's just another Viagra email, it's not that important. So, you just, it kind of helps you really concentrate and focus. And the other thing I'll say, too, is that it's really important to get buy-in from your family, because I feel like sometimes for writing, especially culturally for us, people don't always take your writing seriously. They think, you're just home writing all day. Like, no, I'm not, man. This is my career. This is what I'm doing, and this is what I love, and I need you to respect that. So I think that certain cultures also kind of are very dismissive of, writing, as a general career choice. And I think when you can have a family that says, oh, no, she's writing, like, that means, somebody said, I don't know who said this, but, people know to come only if there's, like, arterial blood, people have said. If your kids are bleeding or a limb has fallen off, that's the only time you can interrupt mommy. But in all seriousness, that's a respect thing. So I think that you have to make sure you let people get on board to support you and realize I can't answer you several times times a day, I cannot talk to you about what's on, The Young and the Restless. Like, I have to focus. I have to concentrate. These things are not important to me. So I think for the most part, I'm very fortunate. I don't have kids, not fortunate in that way. I would love some kids, but fortunate that right now I don't have that many interruptions because it's just me and my mom. But, for the most part, she respects that. Like, she'll call me, hey, so-and-so is on. Like, I'm probably somebody good-looking is on TV. I'll be like, Mom, I'm writing now. Don't call me unless it's really, really, really important. It's okay. And I have to remind them. So, I think also getting your family on board to really support you, because that can be very helpful or detrimental depending on which way they go. So I think that's another.
Okay, and I think that's another, not to interrupt you, but another thing that we didn't mention but we all need is we need a good support system. We need people with a similar mindset so that they understand when we say, okay, no, I need to devote the next 3 hours to writing or editing or revising. They understand what that means. And that they come on board. If you're at that point where every now and then I get this, okay, that's it. I have a huge pity party. I'm through. I'm not doing another play. I'm not writing another word. I'm not reading another book. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Just go away. And so I have some friends that for a few minutes let that go on, and they say, okay, now it's back to real life, girl. Get it together. And those are good people to have in your corner that tell you, yes, I understand that. Yes, I went through that last month. But if you think you're getting ready to sit down here for the next 2 years and do nothing, sis, let me help you. You are not getting off on that bus stop. So
that's good. That's good, Jeanette. And not to cut you off, but what you were saying about people who understand that. Michael Hyatt just came out with an article about what's non-negotiable in your life. And, the people who support you can understand if you say, hey, today I'm going to be taking care of these things. It's usually, and I think some of us struggle with it, I've struggled with it, it's those boundaries of knowing it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, if you're not bleeding or if you're not hurting, that this is what I need to do at this moment, whether it's resting or whether it's writing a screenplay or writing a few words. We need to know it's okay for us to say no, because if not, we're going to notice that, our time is always slipping away into something else, and then we're going to get frustrated and mad, and then we're not going to want to do it when we just need to say, nope, I can't do this today.
Oh, yeah. My thing for 2015 and 2016, and I foresee it going into the next decade, is no is a complete sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. A good one.
Because we get caught up when we say, no. Well, why? Well, I just need you to do this. Well, okay, why can't you do that? Well, just come on, and then we can come back, and I'll help you do this later. And just say, no, there's a period there. You have a nice time. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
That's right.
Because not everybody is going to support you there. They're going to try to keep and I don't think they necessarily mean any harm, but it's like, oh, come on, we can go shopping. Let's go to the mall, or come on, let's just go do this, or you can take an hour and just do this. Or you mean you can't talk to me for 10 minutes? We've been friends 20 years. I'm not worth 10 minutes, And so sometimes right now, no, you're not. Okay.
The other thing that you have to be careful too, because sometimes and I'm usually the last one. I've always been kind of naive about this stuff, but my parents would always tell me, girl, people are jealous. Like, I never really subscribed to that. I never believed in that. But as I age, I see that. I think people don't necessarily always know that they are kind of luring you away, because sometimes they don't have anything going on themselves. And I think that can be kind of like, man, you're not quite sure how to tell them. You got to get something going on for yourself too. And that can happen with family too. They see that you have something that you're doing that you love and that you enjoy, and instead of trying to support you, they may, I don't know, a lot of people like that, but I have heard that it happens, and I'm just kind of surprised, but I still know that sometimes people lure you away from things because they don't want you to succeed. Like, you don't even realize it's happening, but it's always something they want to do, or let's go do this, or let's go do that, because they just don't have, one, they don't have anything going on themselves, and then two, they really are trying to sometimes, subtly sabotage you.
It's usually the people that are close to you, and we just have to realize that everybody in the car isn't going to push if we run out of gas.
Some people stick their feet out and drag, make the car heavier to push. Like, good.
Yeah, some people aren't. And so, and once you recognize that, and you don't even have it. Don't do Jeanette, because Jeanette has a tendency sometimes to be mean. However, you can do what the Queen Mother used to say and handle them with a long-handled spoon. I can love you, but I can love you from a different zip code.
And I find that people don't dream anymore, and so they don't understand that you have a dream. You know, I have people in my family who have said, "Oh, you still have that little magazine?" Yeah. They have never been to it. They have never read an article out of it. Even when it went to print, they've never bought it. And it didn't upset me because I didn't Mary Kay, and my family didn't buy a Mary Kay thing, but they always wanted some freebies, you know. And so I've learned
Don't you love them?
Everybody isn't your audience. And so don't get upset when your family doesn't believe in your dream, because a lot of them don't believe in dreaming. You know, they'll tell you, why are you doing that? Why would you waste 2 hours doing that? What's the point of it? You know, oh, you still writing a book? When we going to see it? You know, people don't understand it takes a long time for a book to come.
But, you know, even with plays, you know, it's like they're like, you know, ain't nobody going to pay to come see your stuff. Who you think? They see you every day. Why do you think they're going to pay to see your stuff?
Right. And Jeanette, you said
that's bold. But family members are the first to cut you hard. They will cut you hard. And, you know, and a lot of people, I see that a lot on Facebook, and they're on Facebook, and people are crying because their family is not supporting them. And my first statement to them, and not to be mean, but your family isn't your audience. And when you realize that, you don't get your feelings hurt anymore. My family doesn't read. Most of my family doesn't read. So I wouldn't expect them to go buy a magazine or even read my magazine. When I say I read, you know, you still read books? When you going to get over that? I've been reading books since I was 4.
But do you think, how successful would Michael Dell be if he only sold computers to his family?
That's right. And see, ladies, you said something powerful that I don't want us to miss in this, is that too, as writers, and I know we've all heard it, we've been there, that you see the writers who are mad at their families because they are not buying from them. And so we also have to take the pressure off of our families that just because we're writers does not mean that our material is for them, and we don't need to hamper them to do our promotions. You know, it's for who it's meant for, and I think that's what creates some animosity both ways. You know, you have the people who feel hurt, but then sometimes if we're not careful, we can hurt people by saying, well, you need to be here, and you need to show up, and you need to support, which makes them resent our dream, and then it's more frustration than anything.
That is so true, Ashley. Very true. And you have, you know, my thing is you give them the option. You can invite them, but if they don't come, then you don't get upset about it, because that, you know, my book was about promotion. I did a book signing, and my whole family showed up. I was in tears because I did not expect that at all, because it wasn't a fiction book. I wasn't expecting them to come. They bought 2 and 3 copies. You know, and I was like, wow, but that's because they were proud of me. They knew I had taken years to write a book, and they all was like, your dream came true. We are so proud of you. You know, but I have been to places where people have had book signings and not even the person's mom came. So, you know, don't get too upset when your family is not there to support that dream that you have, because that's your vision. That doesn't mean it's their vision. You know, and then when the ones that do, like my son, he'll sell my book for me, I'm excited about that. But I don't expect when I tell my kids I'm going to a book signing, would you come with me? I don't really want to sit there for 2 hours. Nah. And I say, okay, thank you, and I keep them going. You know, the baby, he always want to go, but he can't do nothing. He's 9. So he just goes, get on my nerves, and I'm going to kill him.
Give him a year, and they'll be like, do I have to?
Yeah, so, you know, I don't get upset. And people, well, nobody will go with me. You know, and I was telling my friend, I said, I need to find me a book buddy. So whenever they have an event, I can go to their event and help them. And then when I have something, they can come to mine. Because you don't want to go out by yourself. But if you have to, you have to, you know. That's part of the promotion.
Yeah. And when I
really
first
enjoyed this.
started, I was just going to say quickly, when I first started, I put all my family on my mailing list. And after my mailing list took off, I took all my family off. I was like, I'm not wasting a stamp on y'all. Like, y'all send y'all an email, but I'm not sending y'all hard paper copies, things that I done worked hard and put on whatever it was then, 30-something cent stamp. So, as your mailing list grows, that for me, I took them off because they're not responding. They're not so much, and I kept the people that were engaging and responding on. I could always tell my family word of mouth, or I'll just get my mom to tell them. She'll send out, sound the alarm. But, you just kind of grow up and you're like, wow, this, families, they'll support you one time, and they'll always be there to support you, and that's okay. They'll be there and come out and buy a book every now and then, but they're not the ones that are going to be voraciously reading every single thing or coming out to buy tickets and see everything that you have. And I think that you have to make peace with that, because sometimes you don't always want that either.
And there are different kinds of support, and we need to acknowledge that. LaShawna may need to go to a book signing, but she need somebody to stay there and watch her kids because of something in the evening. So she doesn't need that person to come and buy a book from her that evening. She needs somebody to help her with her family that evening. So, support comes in all different kinds of ways. It may be you need somebody to stop and pick up a bucket of chicken. You need somebody to grab you some stamps. Okay, you need somebody just to listen to me read this page and tell me if it makes sense. There are all kinds of ways that we can support each other that doesn't include, exchanging cash for a book. Although we do like that, we don't want to forget that part. But there are just so many other ways that we need supports, because all those other things that still have to. Life is still going to happen, so there's only so much of you to go around. Right. And so when you're trying to live that full life as a mother, the full life as a wife, the full life as a teacher, a full life as a church member, a full life as a community member, a full life on your job, and do your hustle, you're going to expend yourself really quickly.
That's right.
And if you're not expended, you're going to find that you spread yourself so thin that you really haven't covered anything.
Right.
So instead of
multitasking.
Right. Multitasking is a myth.
Yes, it is. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. It just messes with you, and then you're tired, and then you can't remember what you just did last.
Yeah. I had to
that's
get
a
rid
myth.
of that word out of my vocabulary, and my new word is focus. To focus on one thing at a time, and you try to do 5 things at a time, you never complete anything. Because you're working on this, you're working on that, and that's one of the things, especially when life happens. You can't do 5 things. You have to focus on one thing, finish that, then move to the next project. And that's
my other new thing, other than know the complete sentence, is my focus is on the end. When whatever the project is, I'm looking for the time where I can say the end. It's the end of that book. It's the end of that play. It's the end of that. The end. I just finished washing dishes. The end. I just finished washing my last load of clothes. The end. I just ran I've just finished my last errand for today. Just being able to put the end on something.
Yes.
That's good, Jeanette. And I think with just piggybacking off of what Jeanette said, that also helps us to have that momentum to, keep going. And it's not my quote, but Stephen Covey talks about beginning with the end in mind, because when we look at all the tasks we have to do, it makes it hard. It makes us feel like, this is something else I have to do. But when you know what your end goal is, and then you work backwards, it's like, okay, I know I'm working towards something. So that also helps out.
And I think you have to take time to acknowledge what you've done. Sometimes we get so busy. I posted something on Facebook once about I dreamed of Store Mag being a print magazine, and that was when I started in 2000, and it became a print magazine in probably 2004. I think I printed it myself, but I always still wanted to see that glossy look. And so when I started doing that, I was just so busy setting up the magazine, putting it out, setting up the magazine, putting it out. I didn't realize I had reached the goal that I wanted because I was so busy trying to finish the other stuff. And I sat and I looked at the magazines and I started crying and I said, oh my goodness, this is what you have hoped for years, to see your magazine in a glossy magazine. And, you know, and I put that on Facebook. People were congratulating me. But the magazine had been in a glossy magazine for 4 or 5 years. You know, I just had acknowledged it to myself, you know. And so now I make sure that when I complete that goal, that I let myself know I completed it. And good job, LaShonda, versus, oh, I'm going to the next goal. I'm going to the next goal. You know, you get so caught up in finishing these goals that you don't realize that you put in the work. I think I've told Jeanette that. I'm like, look at what you've done this year. She's like, oh, yeah. You're so busy. You're doing this, you're doing that, and you don't realize that you was rocking it, and you didn't even realize it.
I just told somebody I feel like I'm standing still.
Right.
And, you know, and she just, you know, she pointed out several things that I've accomplished this year that it just kind of went over. Like you said, I didn't stop to even, and we don't stop to relish those things that we have accomplished.
Yeah, right.
And it's nothing about being prideful about it, and something we need to be boastful about, because it is an accomplishment. And it's okay to say I did this well.
Right.
Or I finished this. There's nothing wrong with that.
I say it all the time, I rock for the day. All right. Because sometimes you need that little pep thing to keep you moving to the next thing, because life will pop you upside the head, and you, like you said, you feel like you're standing still, you're not doing anything. But last week, that play was rocking. You sold out to the house. You know, you forget that because you went back to, I don't feel good this week. My husband don't feel good. This has been a rough month. You know, and you have to acknowledge what you do, and I start putting down stuff that I rock. I do an Evernote thing. I put down, I did it. So I can go back and look at it and go, okay, LaShonda, 2016 wasn't too bad. You know, because it goes.
Thank you. I need to write down. Thank you. I need to write down. So I'm glad you said. I was on a panel last week, and when they asked me to be on it, I looked at my husband and said, why on earth are they asking me? You know, these are women that have been CPAs and all this other stuff. Why on earth are they asking me to be on this panel? And he said, why not?
You rock.
That's right. And we have to learn how to do that. And let's not, you know, if you need to take pictures, like I know, Jeanette, you just had that event, you know, print out, you know, that engagement or the invitation and put it somewhere, you know, just so you can see it. Like, you know, there is something good I offer. I'm not just offering fluff. I'm offering value. So whenever I talk, and the same thing for Tracee, because I know Tracee does a lot of speaking and teaching and journaling, you know, it's like, okay, I rock. And when I go into something, I know I'm adding value wherever I go. So we just need that encouragement.
We do.
You should start an inspirational file. Whenever I get a really good email from somebody, I cut it out and I print it out, and I have a little file when I'm feeling down or I'm having a little pity party. I just read over, you know, the things that people have said or about my books or about, you know, the talk, and those things just encourage me. But, you know, the song says sometimes you have to encourage yourself. So that really is very, very true.
I might have to start it.
And also like a song file, you know, like I have like a Rocky song from Rocky Balboa, Yo Adrian, and all that. And so songs can really bring
I love that. My friend sang that song. I have the lady that's on Deetta West. She's a friend of mine. I didn't know that about her until later, but she's the person who sang the Rocky song.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah, I love Rocky. I love movies about the underdog, and so sometimes the soundtrack, I buy a lot of soundtracks. I have soundtracks from The Wiz, from Color Purple. You have to buy, and there's some great songs that can also bring you up. So it's, you know.
I'm like that, too, with music. I love music. As a matter of fact, when they redid The Wiz, I downloaded If You Believe, and I played that one.
And Be a Lion. I still love it.
I'm in the car singing at the top of my lungs because it's me.
That's right.
So I am definitely a music person. That music definitely encourages me.
Yeah, you have to get like your inspiration soundtrack that bring you up kind of soundtrack for your life. So
that's right.
Music can really make you feel good.
Well, ladies, this has been amazing. I just have I'm over here taking notes too. Tell us how we can get in contact with you.
Well, you can reach me on my website, tgarner.com. That's TEEGARNER.com. You can email me. I just recently joined Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, facebook.com, Tracee Lydia Garner, my full name.
Okay, you can reach me. I have so many, but I'll try to pare it down for you. On Facebook, you can reach me at either Jeanette Hill 1 or JW Hill Productions, LLC. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter as Jeanette W. Hill, but I'm also on Twitter as the Front Porch Divas. I'm my website, again, JW Hill Productions is one website, but the Front Porch Divas also have their website where we're doing right now. We're working on women making history. So that would be frontporchdivas.com. And my email is jwhill@jwhillproductions.com.
And for me, the best way to connect is at ashleysauls.com, and the last name is Sauls. There you'll be contacted or connected with all of the social media links, or by email you can reach out. It's ashley@ashleysauls.com.
Thank you, ladies.
I
thank you, our listeners, for taking time to listen to the podcast. Please feel free to write a review and let me know what you think of this episode. Please share the podcast with your writer friends. If you have a topic you want us to discuss in the cafe, send your suggestions to lchwriter@gmail.com. This is LaShonda Hoffman, and I will see you on the next.